I often get two main questions from people watching my videos. What's that thing around your neck, and how come your glide is so long? Most people don't realize that when I swim underwater, I use a neck weight. This helps me to stay in the perfect position in the water, not too deep and not too shallow, so I can relax, glide, and nail that perfect stroke. Without the weight, I need to do a lot more strokes and use a lot more energy to stay underwater. That's why getting the right buoyancy is so important. In the upcoming videos, you'll see how my glide and buoyancy changes from floating on top of the water to sinking like a Titanic. Have a look. Right now, I'm in a fresh 50-meter pool, testing my buoyancy with no fins and starting with no weights. I'm making sure to fill up my lungs properly and push off the wall with strength, keeping streamlined for as long as I can. Immediately, I felt the drag and I noticed myself floating to the surface. Only 10 meters. This is the same dive, no weights, gliding under the water, slowly coming up to the surface. Right now I'm using a 2.5 kilo lobster neck weight, which sits snugly behind my neck. If you don't have a lobster neck weight, you can just use a homemade neck weight or a weight belt. Personally, I prefer not to use a weight belt because it's less comfortable and it doesn't really help streamlining. Immediately I noticed that I'm gliding way further with much less effort, about 15 meters. Let's see what happens when I add more weights. Here I'm adding one extra 200-gram weight. Okay, here I go. Big breath in, push off the wall, nice and streamlined, and glide. It feels pretty good. And keep going. At the end, you should always surface. Almost there. 17-meter glide. That's pretty good. See what happens when I add even more weights. Okay, adding another 300-gram weight. By the way, there are a few factors that affect your buoyancy, such as what you are wearing, if you are wearing swimmers or a wetsuit, and how thick the wetsuit is. Also, the size of your breath before the dive makes a huge difference. So the more you're experienced, the more breath you can take, the more weight you're going to need. Also, body composition. Muscle sinks and fat floats. Here I nearly ran into the swimmer, but that doesn't stop me from gliding quite far, actually, nearly 20 meters. That's the best glide so far. Okay, I've added one more 400-gram weight. By the way, do you think you would need more weight if you are in fresh water or in salt water? What difference does the water make? And I start dragging my feet, my toes on the floor, and I start to sink. Obviously, way too much weight. I'm okay. So here is the last underwater shot of the perfect weight. It's one lobster neck weight plus 2 additional weights, and this is the perfect glide going over 20 meters, stabilizing a little bit, and then at the end surfacing, coming up.